All right, so are you ready to dive into some daily use English idioms and phrases with me today?
Always. Idioms are such a fun way to make your English sound more natural.
Right. And we've got some great sources to dig into today. We've got this blog post from Sawadee Translations. They're a Thai translation service.
They have some great insights on common English idioms.
And then we've got this huge list from Fluent U 144 Common English Idioms.
Wow, that's a lot of idiom.
It is. So let's get started. This first one from the Sawadee Translations blog made me chuckle. Tell me something I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
What do you think it means?
Well, it's definitely not a literal request for information.
Right, it's got that sarcastic vibe.
Exactly. It's like when someone states the obvious and you're like, really? You're just figuring that out now?
I can totally see myself using that one. It's perfect for those no-duh moments.
Exactly. Like if someone said, the sky is blue, on a perfectly clear day, you could be like, tell me something I don't know.
Okay, so that's a more lighthearted one. But then there's over my dead body, which seems a bit more intense.
Yeah, that one's definitely got more force behind it.
I'm guessing it's for when you absolutely positively don't want something to happen.
You got it. It's like your ultimate veto. Like the blog post says, you want to sell my car over my dead body.
That's a great example. So it's all about expressing strong opposition.
Exactly. You're drawing a line in the sand.
Now, I love how this Fluent U resource uses short stories to teach idioms.
Oh, yeah. Stories are such a great way to learn.
Because you remember the idiom, but you also remember the story that goes with it.
And the story gives you context, which helps you understand how to use the idiom in real life.
Exactly. So for example, they use a story about a kid having to apologize to illustrate the idiom, bite the bullet.
I've heard that one before, but I never really thought about where it comes from.
Me neither. Apparently, it originates from the battlefield. Soldiers would literally bite down on a bullet during surgery.
Ouch. That sounds pretty rough.
No kidding. But I guess the idea is that you're facing something painful head on.
Yeah, you're enduring the discomfort because you know it has to be done.
So it's like taking your medicine, even if it tastes awful.
Or ripping off a Band-Aid quickly.
Okay, another one they explain with a story is cry over spilled milk.
Oh, I do that all the time. Mentally, at least.
Yeah, it's like dwelling on past mistakes that you can't change.
Right, like beating yourself up over something that's already happened.
But as the saying goes, there's no use crying over spilled milk.
Exactly. This idiom encourages us to move on and focus on what we can control.
Okay, this next one is super relatable, especially in today's world. Jump on the bandwagon.
Oh yeah, everyone's jumping on bandwagons these days.
It's like when something becomes trendy and suddenly everyone's doing it even if they weren't interested before.
Right, it's like following the crowd without really thinking for yourself.
The Fluent U story uses a new fashion trend as an example.
That's a perfect illustration. Like suddenly everyone's wearing those platform shoes that were totally out of style a year ago.
It's like you have to have the latest gadget or follow the latest trend to fit in.
It's a good reminder to question trends and form your own opinions.
Okay, I like how Fluent U organizes the idioms into different categories. It makes them easier to digest.
Yeah, like they have a whole category for body part idioms.
Those are always fun, like cost an arm and a leg.
Oh, yeah, I feel like everything costs an arm and a leg these days.
Right. Like, I just went grocery shopping, and I swear I practically had to sell a kidney to afford it all.
I wonder if that idiom comes from the cost of old portraits.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe adding extra limbs to the painting made it more expensive.
That's an interesting thought. It makes sense. More detail, more cost.
Right? Now how about all ears?
Oh, that's a great one. It's so much more engaging than just saying, I'm listening.
It's like saying, I'm completely focused on you, tell me everything.
And then there's Heart of Gold.
Ah, I love that one. It describes someone who's kind and generous to their core.
Like my grandma, she always puts others first. She definitely has a heart of gold.
That's sweet. Okay, another one. Keep an eye on...
So that's a good one for giving instructions, like keep an eye on the cookies while they're baking.
Right, it means to watch something carefully.
It's amazing how many idioms are based on our bodies and senses, isn't it?
It's true. It's like our language is deeply connected to our physical experiences.
Okay, speaking of physical experiences, food idioms are a must.
Oh, absolutely. Fluent U's food idioms category is packed with delicious expressions.
One that I use all the time is spice things up.
Oh, that's a good one. It means to make something more exciting or interesting.
Like, let's spice things up tonight and try that new Indian restaurant.
Ooh, I'm in. And if the food isn't that great, you can say, well, that was a piece of cake, but with a sarcastic tone.
Haha, exactly. So you're implying it was actually difficult or disappointing.
Right. It's all about that playful irony.
Now, cool as a cucumber always makes me smile. It conjures up such a clear image of calmness.
It does. It's like that person who never seems to get flustered no matter what's happening around them.
Exactly. They just stay cool, calm, and collected.
And who doesn't admire that quality?
Okay, another food idiom that's super relevant these days. Bring home the bacon.
Yeah, that one's all about earning a living and providing for your family.
Especially with the economy the way it is, bringing home the bacon is more important than ever.
It's like that fundamental sense of responsibility.
Oh, okay, I'm loving these.
Hmm.
Let's move on to weather idioms. They can be so dramatic.
Oh, for sure, like under the weather, which we've already touched on.
Right, that means feeling sick.
But how about a storm is brewing?
Ooh, that's a good one for describing a situation that's about to get messy or intense.
Exactly, like you can feel the tension building and you know something's gonna explode soon.
And then there's, when it rains, it pours. Which is so true, isn't it?
It is. It's like when bad luck strikes, it doesn't just drizzle, it comes down in buckets.
Okay, nature idioms can be pretty powerful too, like get into deep water.
Ooh, yeah, that one conjures up images of trouble.
Right, it's like you're in over your head and things are getting a little scary.
And sometimes you didn't even realize you were headed into deep water until it's too late.
Okay, this next one is for all the drama queens out there. Make a mountain out of a molehill.
Guilty as charged. I definitely do that sometimes.
Me too. It's like blowing things out of proportion and making a big deal out of something minor.
It's a good reminder to keep things in perspective.
Now, this last one is deep.
Hmm.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Oh, yeah. That one's about that human tendency to compare ourselves to others.
And think that everyone else has it better, even if there's no evidence to support that.
It's like we're always looking over the fence and wishing we had what our neighbor has.
But in reality, we never know what's really going on in other people's lives.
Right. It's all about focusing on our own blessings and appreciating what we have.
I think we've uncovered some real gems here today.
Definitely. And it's amazing how idioms can really bring language to life.
It's like they add that extra layer of meaning and nuance that you just can't get from literal words alone.
Right. It's like speaking a secret code that only fluent speakers understand.
So now that we've decoded some of those secret codes, are you ready to put them to the test?
Absolutely. Bring on the challenge.
So how do we actually start using these idioms? It's one thing to learn them, but it's another thing to actually say them out loud.
I know what you mean. It can feel a little awkward at first.
But like anything else, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Exactly. So here's a challenge for everyone listening.
Ooh, I love a good challenge. What is it?
Pick one idiom from today's deep dive, just one, and try using it in a conversation this week.
I love that. It's like a little language quest.
Right. And you'll be surprised how quickly that idiom becomes part of your active vocabulary.
Totally. It's like adding a new spice to your cooking repertoire. Once you start using it, you can't imagine going back.
Okay, so let's keep exploring. This one from the DK UK book on English idioms really stood out to me. Let the cat out of the bag.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one before. It's about revealing a secret, right?
Exactly. And I love the imagery. It's like this mischievous cat escaping from a bag, and the secret can't be contained anymore.
That's such a great visual. The book is a perfect example. I'm planning a surprise holiday for Liam to celebrate our wedding anniversary. Don't let the cat out of the bag.
So you're warning someone not to spill the beans.
Exactly. Keep that kitty under wraps.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is super relatable. Judge a book by its cover.
Ah, yeah, we all know that feeling of making snap judgments based on appearances.
The book gives a great example with a dog.
Yeah.
I know he looks scary, but my dog is really gentle. You can't judge a book by its cover.
It's like that saying, don't judge a person by their clothes.
Exactly. There's always more than meets the eye. Okay, let's switch gears a bit and check out some gems from this Jay Forrest English video on YouTube.
Oh, I love their videos. They have so many practical tips for everyday English.
Totally. This one was all about different ways to express your opinions.
Oh, that's a good one. It can be tricky to navigate those conversations, especially in English.
I know, but this video breaks it down so clearly. Like, if you want to agree with someone, you could say,
I couldn't agree more.
or that's a great point.
Or even just, you're absolutely right.
See, so many options, and they all sound more natural than just saying, I agree.
Exactly. Now, how about disagreeing with someone? That can be even trickier.
Right, you don't want to come across as rude or confrontational.
The video suggests using phrases like, I see your point, but, Or, I understand where you're coming from, however.
I love those. It shows that you're listening and respecting their opinion even if you don't share it.
Exactly. It's all about that diplomacy.
Now what about this one? Break a leg.
Oh, that's a classic. It's so counterintuitive, right?
I know. You're wishing someone good luck by telling them to break a bone.
But it's actually a really common way to say good luck in English, especially in the theater world.
I think it's supposed to ward off bad luck or something.
Maybe. But either way, it's a fun and memorable expression.
Okay, and then there's to spill the beans.
Ah, yes. That's like letting the cat out of the bag.
So it means to reveal a secret.
Exactly. Whether it's intentional or accidental, like, oops, I spilled the beans about the surprise party.
Now, one thing that this video really emphasizes is nonverbal communication.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. Especially in English, where so much meaning is conveyed through tone of voice and facial expressions.
Totally. Like, if you say break a leg with a totally serious face,
Yeah.
it's not going to come across as a well wish.
Right. It's going to sound super sarcastic.
So remember, guys, words are only part of the equation.
Huh.
Pay attention to your nonverbal cues as well.
Okay, are you ready to explore some out-of phrases?
Bring it on. I'm intrigued.
This Accurate English video on YouTube does a great job of breaking down all the different ways you can use out of.
Oh, I love that. Out of is such a versatile preposition.
It is. So let's start with a classic. Out of the blue.
Oh yeah, that one means something happens unexpectedly.
Exactly. Like, she quit her job out of the blue. I had no idea she was unhappy.
Or he proposed to her out of the blue. She was totally shocked.
Right. It's like a bolt from the blue.
Okay, how about out of line?
That one's about behavior. It means to act inappropriately.
Like crossing a boundary.
Exactly. Like, his comments were totally out of line. He really offended her.
Okay, this one's a bit more lighthearted. Out of my league.
Ah, yes. That feeling of being totally intimidated by someone.
Like they're just too cool for school.
Right, like, she's so beautiful and talented. She's totally out of my league.
Now how about this one? Out of nowhere.
That one's similar to out of the blue. It means something appears suddenly and unexpectedly.
The video gives a great example related to driving. Like, that car just came out of nowhere. I almost hit it.
It's like it materialized from thin air.
Okay, another one that we see all the time, out of order. Yeah, that just means something's broken. Like, ugh, the vending machine is out of order. I really wanted a snack.
Okay, this next one is super relevant for language learners. Out of practice.
Yeah, we all know that feeling. It's like when you haven't spoken English for a while and you feel rusty.
Exactly. Or like when you haven't played the piano in months and your fingers feel clumsy.
It's a good reminder to keep practicing those skills even when you don't feel like it.
Now, one that can be a little unsettling, out of control.
Oh yeah, that one definitely evokes a sense of chaos.
The video gives a great example with the classroom. The kids were completely out of control. The teacher couldn't get them to calm down.
It's like a wild, untamed energy.
Sometimes, though, I think it's good to let loose and embrace a little chaos.
I agree. Sometimes you gotta shake things up a bit.
Okay, this last one is all about recognizing our limitations. Out of my hands.
Oh yeah, that's a good one for those situations where you just can't do anything to change things.
Like, I wish I could help you with that, but it's out of my hands.
Exactly. It's like acknowledging that some things are beyond your control.
I love how two simple words can create so many different meanings and expressions.
It really shows the power of prepositions.
Okay, you ready for some more? Because we've got some great advice from the London School of English about using idioms in everyday conversations.
Oh, they're like the authority on English language learning.
Right. So I'm sure they have some valuable insights.
Definitely. Let's hear it.
Okay, so they start with an idiom for getting to the point quickly. In a nutshell.
Oh, that's a good one. It means to summarize something concisely.
Exactly. Like, in a nutshell, the meeting was a disaster.
Or, in a nutshell, I think we need to rethink our strategy.
Now, how about this one for when something's been bugging you and you just need to talk about it? Get it off my chest.
Oh, yeah, I love that feeling of relief when you finally share something that's been weighing you down.
It's like a weight lifted.
Totally. The blog post gives two great examples. I had a quick chat with her yesterday as I had to get it off my chest, or I had to get something off my chest.
I definitely need to use that one more often.
Me too. Now, what about expressing doubt? How about this one? I'm not holding my breath.
Oh, that's a good one. It's like saying, I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Exactly. Like, they promised to fix the problem, but I'm not holding my breath.
Okay, and what if you want to stay neutral in an argument?
Yeah. That's where sit on the fence comes in handy.
Like you're not taking sides.
Exactly. I'm not sure who's right. I'm just gonna sit on the fence for now.
Makes sense. Now, let's talk about ending conversations gracefully. They had some great tips for that, too.
Oh, yeah, that can be tricky. Sometimes you don't want to be rude, but you need to move on.
I know. So one option is to say, I'll keep you posted.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I'll let you know what happens.
Exactly. Like, I'm not sure when we'll have an answer, but I'll keep you posted.
And then, of course, there's the classic break a leg, which we talked about earlier.
It's always a fun way to end a conversation, especially if the other person has something exciting coming up.
Totally. Now, one final idiom that I thought was really sweet and encouraging, hang in there.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one for when someone's going through a tough time.
Exactly. It's like saying, don't give up, it'll get better.
The blog post gives a great example. I know things are tough right now, but hang in there. It's like a little pep talk.
Now, one thing they really emphasize in the blog post is understanding the context of an idiom.
Oh, that's so important.
Because an idiom can have totally different meanings depending on the situation.
Like they give the example of pull someone's leg.
Right. It means to tease someone playfully, but if you don't understand that, it sounds really weird.
Like you're literally going to grab their leg and yank it.
Exactly. So always pay attention to the context. Okay, are you ready for some more idiom awesomeness?
Always. What do we got?
Well, we have this fantastic collection of idioms from EF Global. It's on their website, and it's super comprehensive.
EF Global is a big name in language education, so I'm sure their list is top-notch.
Oh, it definitely is. They have clear explanations and examples for everything.
Perfect. What are some of the highlights?
Well, one that I thought was really evocative was to be up in arms.
Oh yeah, that one needs to be really angry about something, right?
Exactly, like the example on the website, the community was up in arms over the proposed development.
So it's like people are ready to fight for what they believe in.
Exactly, it's a powerful image.
And they have to cost an arm and a leg, which we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, the classic idiom for something that's super expensive, like buying a house in a big city.
Speaking of things that can be tricky, they also have to beat around the bush.
Ah, yeah. That one's about avoiding the main point.
Like dancing around a topic because it's uncomfortable.
Right. The website says, stop beating around the bush and just tell me what you want.
I think we've all been guilty of beating around the bush at some point.
Oh, for sure. Sometimes it's hard to be direct, especially in English.
Okay, another one we've already talked about is to bite the bullet.
Yep, facing a difficult task head on, like going to the dentist even though you hate it.
I definitely need to bite the bullet and make an appointment soon.
Me too. Procrastination is a powerful force. Okay, now how about this one? To break the ice.
Oh, that's a good one for social situations.
Exactly. It means to start a conversation or make people feel more comfortable.
Like, he told a joke to break the ice at the party.
It's a good way to ease into a conversation and get people chatting.
Okay, this next one is super inspiring. To follow your dreams.
Ah, yeah, that one's all about pursuing your passions and never giving up.
Exactly. Don't let anyone tell you you can't achieve your goals. Follow your dreams and make them a reality.
So motivational. Okay, so after looking at all these idioms from EF Global, what are your big takeaways?
Well, I think what really struck me is that idioms are not just random phrases.
Right, they have deeper meanings.
Exactly. They're reflections of our shared experiences, our values, our culture.
It's like they give us a glimpse into the heart and soul of a language.
Totally. And I also think it's so important to remember context when using idioms.
Oh, for sure. Context is key.
Because the same idiom can have totally different meanings depending on the situation.
Okay, ready for another resource? This one is a YouTube video from POC English all about mastering common English idioms.
Awesome. I love their channel.
Me too. They have such a clear and engaging teaching style.
So what are some of the idioms that stood out to you?
Well, I think this one is super encouraging and positive. Every cloud has a silver lining.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's like finding the good in a bad situation.
Exactly. Like losing my job was tough, but it gave me the opportunity to start my own business. Every cloud has a silver lining.
It's a reminder that things might seem bad now, but there's always hope for the future.
Now, what about to go the extra mile?
Oh, that's a great one for describing someone who's really dedicated and hardworking.
Exactly. Like, she always goes the extra mile to help her students succeed.
Or he went the extra mile to make sure the project was completed on time and to a high standard.
Right. It shows that you're willing to put in the extra effort.
Okay, and then there's the classic, it's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, that one's super fun and imaginative.
It's definitely not your typical weather report.
Now, this next one is a really important one for language learners. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Oh, that's a great one for reminding yourself to be patient.
Right. Means that big accomplishments take time and effort.
Exactly. So don't get discouraged if you don't see results immediately.
Now, what about to see eye to eye with someone?
Oh, that's a good one for describing agreement. Like, my boss and I don't always see eye to eye on everything, but we have a good working relationship.
Exactly. It means you're on the same page.
So what were your big takeaways from this resource?
Well, I think it really highlighted the importance of using idioms naturally and authentically.
Right, you don't want to sound like you're just reciting a list of phrases.
Exactly. You want to integrate them seamlessly into your conversation.
So practice is key. The more you use idioms, the more comfortable and confident you'll become.
Okay, ready for our last source.
Bring it on. What do we got?
This one is a YouTube video from Lingua Marina, and she's talking about idioms that native speakers use all the time.
Oh, perfect. I love learning those little insider expressions.
Me too. So one that she highlights is to be on cloud nine.
Oh yeah, it's a classic. It means to be super happy.
Exactly. Like, she was on cloud nine after she got engaged.
Now what about this one? To burn the midnight oil.
Oh yeah, that one's all about working late into the night.
Like, I had to burn the midnight oil to finish that project on time.
It's a good one for describing those crunch time situations. Now, how about this one? To get over something.
Oh, that's a good one for moving on from a difficult experience.
Right, like, it took a while, but I finally got over my ex-boyfriend.
Okay, here's one that's super helpful for language learners. To hit the books.
Yeah, that just means to study.
Right, like, I have a big test tomorrow, so I need to hit the books tonight.
And what about to hit the sack?
Oh, that's just a casual way of saying to go to bed.
Exactly. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna hit the sack early tonight.
Okay, now this next one is really heartwarming. Through thick and thin.
That's a beautiful expression. It means to support someone no matter what.
Like, they've been friends for years, through thick and thin.
It's about loyalty and unwavering support.
Okay, now this one is a little bit slangy, but I love it. Off the chain.
Oh, yeah, that one means something is really awesome or exciting.
Exactly. Like, that concert was off the chain.
It's like saying, that was amazing, but with more energy.
Okay, here's one that's super useful for getting to the point. To cut to the chase.
Oh, yeah. That means to skip the small talk and get straight to the important stuff.
Like, we don't have a lot of time, so let's cut to the chase.
It's all about efficiency.
And one final idiom for today, to break the bank.
Yeah, that means something is super expensive.
Right, like, that new car would totally break the bank. I can't afford it.
It's a good one to use when you're feeling budget conscious.
So what were your main takeaways from this video?
Well, I think Lingua Marina really emphasized the importance of listening to native speakers and paying attention to how they use idioms in real-life conversations.
Right. It's one thing to learn the meaning of an idiom, but it's another thing to hear how it's actually used.
And she also talked about the importance of using idioms confidently.
Oh yeah, that's so important.
Because if you sound hesitant or unsure of yourself, it can kind of ruin the effect.
Okay, are you ready for one more resource?
Always. Lay it on me.
This one is a YouTube video from Go Native with MJ, all about learning common English idioms and slang.
Ooh, I love their channel. They always have such fun and creative content.
Okay, so one of the first idioms they cover is stalked.
Ooh, that's a good one. It means to be really happy or excited about something.
Right, like, I'm so stalked for my vacation next week.
Or I'm stoked that you're coming to visit.
Now what about this classic, to be on cloud nine?
Yeah. Another one for feeling super happy. And they have a really fun exchange in the video where someone's trying to pronounce it.
I'm in cloud N.
On CL Cloud N.
Yes. It means I'm so happy I'm on cloud nine.
It's so cute how they're helping each other with the pronunciation.
I know, right? It shows that it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone does it.
Now, what about this one for describing something that's really good quality? Top notch.
Oh, that's a great one. Like, that restaurant is top-notch. The food is amazing.
Or her presentation skills are top-notch. She's so engaging.
Okay, and then, of course, they cover the classic slang word, awesome.
Oh, yeah. That one's like the universal word for great.
Right, like, that movie was awesome, or this pizza is awesome.
It's so versatile. Now, how about some idioms for describing things that aren't so great? They have a good one for that. Not up to scratch.
Oh, that's like saying something isn't good enough.
Exactly. Like, this report is not up to scratch. You need to do it again.
Or her performance was not up to scratch.
Yeah.
She needs more practice.
Now, what about a slang word for bad?
Oh, yeah, they cover sucks.
Right, and they have this hilarious exchange where they're practicing saying it.
It sucks.
I like to suck.
I know, right? It's so funny.
Okay, now let's get back to idioms with vivid imagery. How about as strong as an ox?
Oh, that's a classic for describing someone who's super muscular.
And they have a funny moment in the video where someone's struggling with the pronunciation.
I'm as strong as an axe, as strong as an ox. You know, an axe, yes, ox. It means it's like a bull. It's like bull or cow, like ox, like wild one. So yeah, I'm as strong as an axe. I'm as strong as an ox. Yes.
It's so endearing how they're trying to figure it out.
I know. It just shows that everyone makes mistakes, and that's okay.
Okay, and they also talk about jacked, which is a slang word for muscular.
Oh yeah, it's like, he's so jacked, he must lift weights every day.
And they also have some tips for expressing feeling weak. They suggest adding the word feeling to soften the tone.
Oh, that's a good tip. So instead of just saying, I'm weak, you could say, I'm feeling weak.
Right, it makes it sound less blunt and more polite. And then they have this hilarious idiom for feeling really weak, to feel like a wet noodle.
Oh yeah, that one's great. It paints such a clear picture.
Like you have absolutely no energy.
Okay, moving on from feeling weak to feeling anxious. How about calm before the storm?
Oh, that's a good one. It's that eerie stillness before something chaotic happens.
Like, it's so quiet in here. It's like the calm before the storm.
And they give a really funny example in the video. Tonight, I'm gonna say my nemesis. Oh yeah, a guy. I hate his guts. I hate him literally. So right now, I mean, tonight I'll be furious, but okay. I can say right now I'm calm. Yeah. So I can say I'm calm before the storm. Cal before the storm. Yes. I mean, tonight it's gonna be the storm that I'll be furious and angry and shouting and everything. But right now I'm calm.
I love how passionate they are about English.
Me too. It's so contagious.
Okay, and then there's the classic slang word, chill, which just means to be relaxed.
Yeah, that one's super versatile.
Like, just chill out, everything's gonna be fine.
Okay, what about idioms for being thirsty?
Oh yeah, they have a couple of good ones for that, like as dry as a bone.
That one really paints a picture.
And they explain it using the image of a bone. When you don't drink water for a day, okay, you go thirsty, yeah. So you need to drink water then. So when you don't drink water, you go thirsty. So, but you can also say, instead of thirsty, I'm as dry as a bone.
Yeah, I'm as dry as a bone, yes. Like, there is no water inside a bone, so you can say, I'm as dry as a bone. I'm as dry as a bone, yes.
It's a good reminder to stay hydrated.
Okay, and then there's dying for a drink, which is a bit more dramatic.
Yeah, like you're absolutely parched.
Okay, let's shift gears to directions. They have a great idiom for being lost. Off the beaten path.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's like saying, I'm way off course.
And they have a funny example of someone who got lost without a GPS. When you go to a place that you don't know anyone, you don't know anywhere, you don't have GPS, and you think to yourself you went lost. Lost yet. So we can say I'm lost. Instead of saying I'm lost, we can say I'm off to the beaten path. I'm off to the B path, yes. I'm off to the BM path. It means, yeah, I'm totally lost. I'm lost, yeah. It's definitely a more descriptive way to say I'm lost.
Okay, what about idioms related to luck?
Oh, they had some fun ones for that.
Yeah.
Like to hit the jackpot.
Oh, yeah, that's like winning the lottery.
Exactly. And they have a great example of someone who's feeling super lucky. Wherever I go, whatever I do, I see beautiful people, nice people. I feel great stuff. So everything good happens to me. Everything great happens to me every day. Nothing bad will happen to me. So I can say I'm lucky. You're lucky, yes. When you want to say I'm lucky, so you're always going to say I was lucky. Yeah. I can say I HTE the jackpot. I HTE the jackpot. Yeah. I hit the jackpot, like I'm lucky. What jackpot means, jackpot is like lottery. It's the name of the lottery. I can say I hate the jackpot. Hate the jackpot, yeah. I mean, I won the lottery. Or is something like lottery and a casino game. I can say jackpot, like it's like playing cards and you lucky person always hates the jackpot, so I hate the jackpot.
And then there's to be on a roll, which is like experiencing a streak of good luck.
Exactly. Like everything's going my way. I'm on a roll.
And they have a great example in the video. Or you could say, I'm on a roll, you're on a roll, I'm on a roll, I'm on a roll. It means every day, every time, the one after another, great things happen to me. I mean, I want to roll, I'm on a roll, yeah. I'm on a great path, I'm on a great roll. So just good things happen. It's like you're lucky once, you're lucky twice, but sometimes you're just on a roll. It's like you're lucky every day, all the time, so one after another, so you can say, I'm on a roll.
Okay, what about idioms for expressing shock or surprise?
Ooh, they have a good one for that. To be floored.
Oh yeah, that's like being
Right.
totally blown away.
And they have this hilarious example of someone struggling with the pronunciation. Because I'm shocked. I want to tell you the synonyms for it. So, okay, instead of saying I'm shocked, you can say, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me like a ton of bricks, yes. It's like a ton of bricks that hit me one after another. So it hit me like a ton of bricks, yeah. Just like that. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Yeah. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my God. I'm so in shock. Yes, I'm shocked, yes. So you haven't heard it? No. I'm going to tell you after the class. Or you can say, for shocking thing, when you want to say I'm shocked, you can say, I'm floored. I'm floored, yes. I'm floored. E-F-L, yeah, I'm floored. Yo, it's so shocking. Come on. Is it true? Like, you really haven't heard of it. No, it's like driving me crazy. Why? So you have to wait after the class. I'm going to tell you, I'm floored, yes? I'm floored. You're curious, but I'm floored. I'm floored, yeah? You're floored, but I'm going to say that you're floors. Floors, yes? I'm floored. You're curious, I'm floored. So floors.
Florist. It's amazing how they can still convey so much meaning, even when they're struggling with the pronunciation.
I know, it's so inspiring.
Okay, I think we've officially reached idiom overload.
Me too. My brain is bursting with new expressions.
But in a good way. I feel like I've leveled up my English skills today.
Absolutely. And remember, we've only just scratched the surface.
There are so many more idioms out there waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. So keep exploring, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep having fun with English.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and explore some other fascinating sources from our collection. I found a really intriguing idiom in the DKUK book on common English idioms. Let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, that's a classic. It means to accidentally reveal a secret. I always picture a mischievous cat escaping from a bag and the secret spilling out along with it.
That's such a great visual. It's like the secret can't be contained anymore once the cat is out of the bag. And the book gives a great example. I'm planning a surprise holiday for Liam to celebrate our wedding anniversary. Don't let the cat out of the bag.
That's a perfect scenario for using this idiom. It really captures the essence of accidentally revealing a secret. You know, it's fascinating how many idioms use imagery and storytelling to convey their meaning.
Totally. They're not just dry, abstract phrases. They're little narratives that engage our imagination and help us remember their meaning. And speaking of memorable idioms, there's another one from the same book that I think everyone can relate to. Judge a book by its cover.
Ah, yes. That one's all about not making assumptions based on superficial appearances. It is a timeless reminder that there's often more to people and things than meets the eye.
The book gives a great example. I know he looks scary, but my dog is really gentle. You can't judge a book by its cover.
It's a valuable lesson that applies to so many aspects of life, from people to situations to opportunities. We should always strive to look beyond the surface and not jump to conclusions.
Okay, so let's move on to some real gems I found in the J Forest English video on YouTube. They have some fantastic phrases that are perfect for everyday conversations.
J Forest English is a fantastic resource for language learners. I'm curious what caught your attention.
Well, I loved how the video broke down different ways to express your opinions, both positive and negative. It's so important for navigating social interactions and professional settings.
Absolutely. Being able to articulate your thoughts clearly and respectfully is essential for effective communication.
Exactly. And the video provides such a wide range of options beyond the typical I think or I believe. For example, they suggest phrases like, I couldn't agree more. That's a great point. Or you're absolutely right when agreeing with someone.
Those are all excellent choices. They convey enthusiasm and support while still maintaining a professional tone.
And for disagreeing respectfully, they recommend phrases like, I see your point, but I understand where you're coming from, however. Or, I respect your opinion, but I have a different perspective.
Those are great examples of using softening language to express disagreement without sounding confrontational. It's like diplomacy in action.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance between assertiveness and politeness. And it's a skill that can be applied to any language.
You know, one phrase from the video that always makes me smile is, break a leg. It's such a classic way to wish someone good luck, even though it sounds like you're cursing them.
Right. I love how the video suggests saying it with enthusiasm and even repeating it 3 times. Break a leg, break a leg, break a leg. It's like a little ritual to ward off bad luck.
Exactly. It's all about positive energy. And speaking of performance, there was another idiom from the video that I thought was really helpful. To spill the beans.
Oh, that one means to reveal a secret, either intentionally or accidentally. Like if you're planning a surprise party and accidentally let the guest of honor know.
Exactly. And it's a great reminder to be mindful of the secrets we're entrusted with. Trust and discretion are essential for maintaining strong relationships.
You know, I think it's really interesting how some idioms seem to have opposite meanings, like spill the beans and let the cat out of the bag. They both mean to reveal a secret, but they use such different imagery.
That's a great observation. It shows how flexible language can be. And it's a good reminder that there are often multiple ways to express the same idea.
Now, before we move on to our next source, I wanted to highlight another important point from the J. Forrest English video, the importance of nonverbal communication.
Yes, language is so much more than just words. Our facial expressions, tone of voice, and even body language play a crucial role in conveying meaning.
Exactly. It's like adding another layer of depth and nuance to our communication. And this is especially important when using idioms and slang, which often rely on subtle cues to convey their intended meaning.
Absolutely. For example, if you say break a leg with a deadpan expression, it might not come across as a sincere wish for good luck. It could even be misinterpreted as sarcastic or mean-spirited.
That's so true. So it's important to be mindful of our nonverbal communication and make sure it aligns with the message we're trying to convey.
Precisely. And that's a skill that can be applied to any language. Now, are you ready to dive into our next source?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What have we got?
Well, we've got some great insights from the Accurate English video on YouTube. It's all about exploring different variations of the phrase out of.
Out of is such a versatile preposition.
Yeah.
It can be combined with so many different words to create a wide range of meanings.
Exactly. And the video does a fantastic job of breaking down these variations and providing clear examples.
I loved how the video started with the classic out of the blue. It's such a vivid way to describe something that happens unexpectedly.
Right. Like she told me she was moving to New York. I can't believe it. It happened out of the blue.
It's like a bolt from the blue, completely unexpected and often surprising.
Exactly. And then there was out of line, which means to behave inappropriately or disrespectfully. Like his behavior was completely out of line last night.
It's a great way to describe someone who's crossed a boundary or violated social norms.
And then there's the always relatable out of my league. That feeling of being intimidated by someone's awesomeness.
Oh, we've all been there. Like,
Yeah.
he's nervous to ask her out because he thinks she's out of his league.
It's like saying someone is too good or too impressive for you.
Exactly. Now, another out of phrase that I thought was particularly interesting was out of nowhere, which is similar to out of the blue.
Right, both describe something happening suddenly and unexpectedly. The video gave a great example related to driving. That car came out of nowhere and we almost had an accident.
It's like something materializing from thin air. It can be quite startling.
Absolutely. Then there's the classic out of order, which simply means that something is not working properly.
Like, let's take the stairs because the elevator is out of order.
It's a phrase we encounter all the time in our daily lives, from broken appliances to malfunctioning technology.
Speaking of things that can malfunction, there's one out of phrase that I think is particularly relevant to language learners.
Yeah.
Out of practice. It's that feeling that your skills have declined because you haven't been using them regularly.
That's a great one. And it's something we can all relate to, whether it's speaking a foreign language, playing a musical instrument, or even just remembering someone's name. Like, please don't ask me to play the piano tonight, I'm out of practice.
Exactly. It's a reminder that consistent practice is key for maintaining our skills and abilities. And it's a great motivator to keep pushing ourselves and never stop learning.
Absolutely. And it's a great motivator to keep pushing ourselves and never stop learning. Now, another out of phrase that I thought was particularly powerful was out of control.
Ooh, yeah, that one evokes a sense of chaos and things spiraling out of hand.
Right. It means that something is chaotic and unmanageable. Like, the new teacher didn't know how to discipline the students, and they were out of control.
It's a bit unsettling, but sometimes I think it's necessary to let go of control and embrace a little bit of chaos.
I agree. Sometimes the most creative and innovative solutions emerge from those moments of disorder.
That's a great perspective. Now, before we wrap up this section on out of phrases, I wanted to touch on one more that I thought was particularly insightful. out of my hands.
Ah, yes. That one's all about acknowledging your limitations and recognizing that sometimes things are beyond your control. Like, I wish I could help you, but it's out of my hands.
It's a valuable reminder to focus on what we can influence and let go of what we can't. It's like accepting the reality of a situation, even if it's not what you want.
Absolutely. And it's a phrase that can be applied to so many different aspects of life, from work to your relationships, the personal challenges.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty energized after exploring all these out-of phrases. It's amazing how much depth and nuance we can create with just 2 simple words.
Me too. It really shows the power and flexibility of the English language.
So are you ready to move on to our next source?
Absolutely. What's next on our agenda?
Well, we've got a fantastic resource from the London School of English, all about using idioms in general conversation.
The London School of English is a renowned institution for language learning, so I'm sure they have some valuable insights to share.
Absolutely. Their blog post highlights a variety of idioms that are perfect for different conversational scenarios, from starting a conversation to expressing opinions to even ending a conversation gracefully.
I'm eager to hear more. What were some of the highlights for you?
Well, I love how they start with an idiom for condensing information. In a nutshell, it's perfect for those times when you need to get to the point quickly.
Oh, that's a great one. It means to summarize something concisely, like, I met with the manager to discuss a few things, and in a nutshell, he agreed with me.
Exactly. It's like getting the gist of something without all the unnecessary details.
And then there's an idiom for expressing something that's been bothering you. Get it off my chest. It's that feeling of relief that comes from finally sharing something that's been weighing on your mind.
Exactly. The blog post gives 2 great examples. I had a quick chat with her yesterday as I had to get it off my chest, or had to get something off my chest.
It's like a weight being lifted from your shoulders.
Now, another idiom from the blog post that I thought was particularly amusing was, I'm not holding my breath. It's a classic expression of skepticism or doubt.
Oh, that one's great. It's like saying, I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly. The blog post gives a great example. I heard they were going to offer free cakes in Starbucks, but I'm not holding my breath.
It's a fun way to express your doubts without being too negative or confrontational.
Now, another idiom from the blog post that I thought was particularly helpful for navigating conversations was sit on the fence.
Yes. That one's all about being undecided or neutral on an issue. It's like saying, I'm not taking sides.
The blog post gives a great example. I don't want to get involved in their argument. I'm going to sit on the fence.
It's a diplomatic way to avoid getting caught in the crossfire.
Okay, let's move on to some idioms for ending a conversation gracefully. The blog post had some great suggestions for this as well.
I'm all ears. How do the experts recommend we wrap things up?
Well, one option is to say, I'll keep you posted. It's a great way to signal that you'll provide updates as they become available without making a firm commitment.
Right. It's like saying, the conversation is ending for now, but I'll be in touch.
The blog post gives a great example. I'm not sure what time it will be. I'll keep you posted.
It's a polite way to indicate that you'll be in touch.
And then, of course, there's the classic break a leg, which we discussed earlier. It's a fun and quirky way to end a conversation on a positive note, especially if the other person has a performance or presentation coming up.
It's like giving them a little boost of confidence before they take the stage.
Now, one final idiom from the blog post that I thought was particularly heartwarming was hang in there.
Ah, that's a great expression of encouragement and support. It's like saying, don't give up, you've got this.
The blog post gives a great example. I know things are tough right now, but hang in there.
It's a reminder that even when things are challenging, we can always find support and encouragement from those around us, and that sometimes all we need is a little bit of hope to keep going.
You know, before we move on to our next source, I wanted to highlight an important point that the London School of English blog post emphasized: the importance of understanding the context in which idioms are used.
That's so crucial. Idioms can have different meanings depending on the situation and the people involved.
Exactly. The blog post gives a great example of how the idiom pull someone's leg can be misinterpreted if you don't understand the context.
Right. It's a way of teasing someone playfully, but if you say it to someone who's not familiar with the idiom, they might think you're literally trying to pull their leg.
Exactly. So it's important to be mindful of our audience and make sure we're using idioms in a way that will be understood and appreciated.
I couldn't agree more. Now, what's our final source for today's deep dive?
Well, we've got some really insightful perspectives from the EF Global website. They put together a fantastic collection of common English idioms, along with clear explanations and examples.
EF Global is a leader in language education, so I'm sure their resource is top-notch.
Absolutely. One thing that really stood out to me from their collection was the idiom to be up in arms.
Oh, that's a great one. It means to be very angry or upset about something.
Right. The website gives a great example. The community was up in arms over the proposed development. It's like a call to action, a rallying cry for people outraged by something.
Exactly. It paints such a vivid picture of collective anger and opposition.
And then there's the idiom to cost an arm and a leg, which we talked about earlier.
Yes, another classic way to say that something is very expensive. It's like saying you have to sacrifice a limb to afford it, which of course is an exaggeration, but it effectively conveys the idea of something being very costly.
The website provides a great context for this one. Buying a house in this city costs an arm and a leg.
It's a sentiment that I think a lot of people can relate to these days.
Now, another idiom from the EF Global collection that I thought was particularly interesting was to beat around the bush. I feel like this is something that a lot of people do, especially when they're trying to avoid a difficult conversation.
Oh, absolutely. It means to avoid talking about something directly, often because it's uncomfortable or sensitive.
The website gives a perfect example. Stop beating around the bush and just tell me what you want. It's like dancing around the main point instead of addressing it head on.
And sometimes that direct approach is exactly what's needed.
And then there's the idiom to bite the bullet, which we discussed earlier.
Right. It means to force yourself to do something unpleasant or difficult. The website provides a great context. I hate going to the dentist, but I know I need to just bite the bullet and make an appointment.
It's like taking a deep breath and facing your fears.
Exactly. It's about overcoming procrastination and just getting things done, even if they're not enjoyable.
Now, another idiom from the EF Global collection that I thought was particularly useful for language learners is to break the ice. This one's all about starting conversation or making people feel more comfortable in a social setting.
Yes, a great way to describe those initial interactions, especially when you're meeting new people. It's like creating a more relaxed and informal atmosphere.
The website gives a great example. He told a joke to break the ice at the party.
It's a great strategy for easing tension and getting people to open up.
Now, one final idiom from the EF Global collection that I thought was particularly inspiring was to follow your dreams.
Yes. A timeless reminder to pursue your passions and never give up on your aspirations.
The website provides a great context. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't achieve your goals. Follow your dreams and make them a reality.
It's a call to action, an invitation to embrace our individuality and strive for greatness.
I couldn't agree more. It's about having the courage to pursue what truly matters to us, regardless of the obstacles we may face.
Exactly. And it's a message that resonates deeply with me.
Me too. It's a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to achieve great things if we dare to dream big and work hard.
Wow, we've covered so much ground today. From Thai translations to YouTube videos to classic idiom dictionaries, we've really explored the world of daily use English idioms and phrases.
It's amazing how these little expressions can add so much color and personality to our language.
They really do, and they can make our English sound so much more natural and fluent.
Exactly. So for all of you listening out there, I encourage you to embrace the wonderful world of idioms.
Don't be afraid to experiment, to try new expressions, to make mistakes.
That's how we learn and grow.
Absolutely. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep having fun with English.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, happy language learning.